Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? We have for you a clip to watch. We only got one clip, but it's an important clip and you need to see it, and hopefully you will stick around to hear my opinions on it afterwards. Now, this is Loudoun County, which I'm sure you've heard a lot about. This is the place where the school boards in this county in the United States are leading the charge when it comes to trying to institute not only critical race theory, CRT, but also communism, right? But it's just been rebranded into something else. When you're in a position where your children are being indoctrinated and brainwashed with a political ideology, and when you attempt to speak out about it, first you get silenced, which is what happened to these men and women and families here, and then second you get arrested for it, right? Again, which is what's happened here. That's communism, right? Things like equity. You notice how they've subtly changed from equality to equity. What they were doing is they were dipping their toes in the water to kind of get the measure of the population, and when they thought the moment was right, which is what happened after Biden was quote unquote elected, they then changed subtly the wording from equality to equity. Equity is a fancy, over educated, under intelligent way of saying communism, right? So let's get into this clip and you'll see how the school board in Loudoun County are treating the parents of the children they are supposed to represent and to educate abhorrently. They're treating them terribly. So let's get into this clip. If you haven't yet, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, share this video around. We are shadow banned, demonetized, and deboosted. We don't get recommended anymore. We are conservative commentators, and as such, we are not welcome on this amazing platform that is YouTube. Okay, let's go. Okay, so we will play this video in its entirety. It's 1 minute, almost 2 minutes long, 1 minute 55. We'll watch that, and then after we'll go back and we'll play it again, and I will stop it intermittently to make the points that I feel I need to make.
In tonight with a heated school board meeting on transgender policy and critical race theory, it turned physical tonight in Loudoun County, Virginia, just a suburb right here in Washington, D.C. Multiple people were arrested, including one man who was tackled to the ground by deputies and forcefully removed from the room. At one point, the sheriff's department declared the meeting an unlawful assembly after board members abruptly cut off public comment. They heard just 51 of the 259 people who had signed up wanting to make a public comment. Now, some attendees staying in the room to voice their opinions, resulting in that clash with law enforcement. Check it out.
That's right.
All these people were doing here was taking the time to be able to show and share, at least with their own people, why they're here. They have every right to do that and to press their rights and their regrets in terms of what's gone on in this county. You guys are actually supporting the suppression of people's rights.
John, are you refusing to leave at this time?
Yes, I'm refusing to leave.
Kids too.
Deputies, please arrest this individual for trespassing.
Oh my God.
Listen, John, put your hands behind your back. Come on.
Please, thanks. Go.
Based on what transaction? What did I do wrong?
Just put.
All right, that's just the latest instance of parental pushback in Loudoun County here in Virginia. That school district making headlines over suspending an elementary PE teacher who spoke in his personal capacity at one of those meetings, saying it would violate his religious convictions to refer to young students by a gender that differs from their gender assigned at birth. A judge has since tossed that suspension. That case is now on appeal. It's not simmering down out there. We'll continue to follow it.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Unbelievable. Especially this man getting arrested by this pig-faced so-called sheriff here. Unbelievable, really, the way innocent people are being treated when they're just trying to voice their concerns over their own children's so-called education. If this was a BLM rally or event, or even if this was a crowd at this building of BLM, then none of them would have got arrested. But look, anyway, look, let's go back. We'll watch again, and I'll stop it intermittently to make the points that I feel I need to make.
School board meeting on transgender policy and critical race theory. It turned physical tonight at completed school board meeting on transgender policy and critical race theory. It turned physical tonight in Loudoun County, Virginia, just a suburb right here in Washington, D.C. Multiple people were arrested, including one man who was tackled to the ground by deputies and forcefully removed from the room. At one point, the sheriff's department declared the meeting an unlawful assembly after board members abruptly cut off public comment. They heard.
You need to remember, in this age of defund the police, abolish the police, attack the police, and worse, in this age when those people who espouse those beliefs are not only the loudest people, not only the ones who only ever get catered to, but they are in power. What's more, the school board members pushing this CRT crap, shit, divisive nonsense, which says that, oh look, I'm working class, white working class. There's people like me have privilege over black sports stars, NBA superstars, football stars, soccer stars. You get the drift, right? In an age of that, these sheriffs and the police ought to remember what side their bread is buttered on, because the people that they are forcefully arresting, pinning down like that, are the Republican or even independent people who support the police, the only ones left who do. If this was a BLM rally or riot or even a gathering where they got heated, they wouldn't have been arrested, and they want to defund the police. The police wouldn't have even shown up. Like in Portland, where the riot squad have all resigned. So now the likes of BLM and Antifa can roam the streets with impunity. They even set up their own roadblocks. That's like a third world country, where militant groups who don't recognise, acknowledge or like the authority of the very country that birthed them and gave them their rights, so they set up their own independent roadblocks, even their own independent countries, quote unquote countries, such as Chaz and Chop Zones and things like that, because they don't want to live in the United States anymore. Not because the United States has done anything wrong, but because their minds have been poisoned with CRT, anti-American crap. And so you have decent law-abiding people underneath that sheriff getting manhandled and treated terribly because he wanted his crime. He wanted to talk at a school board meeting. You need to start paying attention to these school board elections. Stop electing people who want to destroy your children.
For just 51 of the 259 people who had signed up wanting to make a public comment. Now, some attendees staying in the room to voice their opinions, resulting in that clash with law enforcement. Check it out.
That's right.
All these people were doing here was taking the time to be able to show and share, at least with their own people, why they're here. They have every right to do that and to press their rights and their regrets in terms of what's gone on in this county. You guys are actually supporting the suppression of people's rights.
John, are you
Yes.
refusing to leave at this time?
Yes, I'm refusing
All
to
right.
leave.
Kids too.
Deputies, please arrest this individual for trespassing.
Oh my God.
John, put your hands behind your back. I'm coming.
Just following orders, just following orders. You notice as soon as he said that you're supporting this, they immediately moved to shut him down, right? Disgusting. Just following orders, I was. That's what the Auschwitz concentration camp guards said. Just following orders. If that sheriff, how far away is it when we reach the point where politically motivated members of the law enforcement or the army, we know they're getting purged of conservatives, if one of them said shoot this man, do you think he would do it? Look, a law-abiding elderly man just wanted to talk, just wanted to voice his concerns at a school board meeting, which is why it was called. But because too many people were criticising CRT, the school board members shut the people off and refused to allow them to speak further. They then brought in the police and the sheriffs, who they want to defund because they're leftists, and got them to arrest these people. Disgusting. And look at the look on his face. I don't think that's a smile of happiness, like, oh yes, I'm arresting you, haha. I think he's just going, oh, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. Oh, I just got ordered to do it. It didn't stand at the Nuremberg trials. And if anything like the Nuremberg trials ever happen again, hopefully it won't stand there either. Because just following orders isn't a valid response when you are enforcing tyranny. You can't say, well, I was only doing it because I got told to. If your commanding officer told you to rob a bank or put your head in an oven or jump off a big bridge, would you do it? So why are you doing this? I really hoped that this police officer, the sheriff here, would have just said no to that. I was going to say something I shouldn't then, but I was going to say something I shouldn't about this guy. This one here, this control freak here. He shuts him off immediately. And you look at the look on his face, it's just dejected. The guy, the old man, the law-abiding old man, because he knows that they have the full weight of the leftist establishment crushing down on him. And then this guy here, he's well-fed, we'll put it that way. The look on his face is arrogance. It's, I can do what I like to you. I can silence you. That's the look on his face.
Trespassing.
Oh my God.
John, put your hands behind your back. Come on.
Please, thanks.
Based on what transaction? What did I do wrong?
Just put.
All right, that's just the latest
Disgusting.
instance of parental pushback in Loudoun County here in Virginia. That school district making headlines over suspending an elementary PE teacher who spoke in his personal capacity at one of those meetings, saying it would violate his religious convictions to refer to young students by a gender that differs from their gender assigned at birth.
Yeah, but you've got to understand, you're a Christian. You are a white, straight, male Christian. White, straight, male Christian. That's immediately 4 rungs down on the greasy totem pole of left-wing Democrat cultural left-wingism, which is, of course, the likes of critical race theory. The greasy totem pole of intersectionality, which says that someone like him with those 4 attributes would automatically be below, for example, Joy Reid. You know who she is. That poisonous, legitimately racist travesty of a so-called journalist. Okay, so that PE teacher has been suspended just like that. Boom, he's out. Here in Britain, a lecturer at a university, she was a Arab Muslim woman, and she made some very disgusting remarks about white people in general. She received a lot of feedback from that by people saying, look, this is, why are you allowed to say this? Do you know what the university did to her? She didn't get kicked off campus. She didn't get arrested, of course. She got a promotion. And the university came to her defense. Because apparently she's allowed to have free speech to say all white people are this and that. But that old man on your screen, he's not allowed his free speech, not to criticise a race of people, but just to speak out against tyranny and against seditious, poisonous, divisive, ideological nonsense that is critical race theory. And it's this Loudoun County all the time. I want to know what's going through the heads of these school board members, because they seem to be trying to provoke and attack the parents of the children they allegedly represent. It's like they don't think that the children belong to them. It's like these school board members, well steeped in CRT and Marxism, believe that their children belong to the state. See what I said about communism if you didn't skip through that part? I warned you. I warned you.
A judge has since tossed that suspension. That case is now on appeal. It's not simmering down out there. We'll continue to follow it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
So that is the clip. As you can see, things are only going to get more, in my opinion, they're probably going to get more, the heat's probably going to rise, let's put it that way, because left-wing authoritarians never compromise. They never give any ground. If you give an inch, they will take a proverbial mile, and then they will consolidate that mile and refuse to give an inch back. Never. Never. Whenever there's quote-unquote compromise, it's always conservatives that are expected, yet again, or Christians or white people or whatever you want to call them, are always expected to give again, and then you compromise. You give, you compromise, they take. That's the left. That is the left. And these school board members, based on what I've seen and heard, and all of these videos that I've watched, I think they hold the parents of the children in contempt. They look at them as nothing more than vessels that produce the children, and now the school board members seem to fully expect them to hand their own children over to the state. That's the way they seem to see it. Disgusting. You need to start paying attention to local elections across the board, whether it's school board or any other type of local or municipal election, and start electing conservatives who want to fix the country, want to fix your local neighbourhood, fix your schools, and whatever it may be, because they're the only ones that care. Anyway, look, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, share this video around. That will help me fight back against the crippling censorship and shadow banning I and many other conservative commentators are facing at the moment. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.